This video is going to give you a trick that you can use to transform your mindset that will force you to fix your life. Mindset is something you've probably definitely heard of at this point. It's a very popular concept, and the reason mindset is a popular concept is because it's taken something that's pretty easy for people to understand at a basic level, and it's made it very accessible. The problem is that when you take something that works and you give it to a large enough group of people that doesn't understand it, they will very quickly make sure that it doesn't work anymore. And that's something that's happened with mindset right now. You hear mindset and you think of your mind. You think of thoughts. And mindset is a shorthand term, at least when it's used in any way that's effective. It's a shorthand term not for changing your thoughts, but changing your emotions, and then as a consequence, changing your actions. And the thing that is getting a lot of people stuck on mindset versus actually allowing them to make a significant change in their life, which is really what the purpose of mindset is that they're trying to construct only their thoughts. But in reality, the only reason you even care about your mindset is because it's gone beyond your thoughts and it's hit your emotions. If you have a thought in your head and you don't believe it, you don't actually think it's real or something that's going to happen, you don't care about it. If it has no impact on your life, you know that it's not true. It doesn't affect you nearly the same way as something that you believe within yourself and that has touched you in an emotional capacity. So, depending on where you're at in your current, let's say, functioning in life, your mental state in life, how deeply you've undertaken the task of building your mindset, there's going to be different ways you approach how you improve it. When you've gone to learn almost anything today, you get hit with mindset as the first building block for that thing. Maybe not in a traditional education context, but if you've gone to learn anything on the internet, one of the first things that they're going to point you towards is that you have to fix your mindset, or you have to set your mind in a certain direction. If you buy into that too much, then you don't ever wind up actually impressing that mindset into yourself. Because your mindset is really a physiological process. I don't know why this trend has happened where we've started to consider our brain as some separate thing from our body, but your physiological state is the strongest influencing factor of your psychological state, almost like the vast majority of the time. So in order to change your mindset, really, you're going to have to change your activity at some point. However, if you haven't started yet, you haven't begun to do anything at all, the simplest, easiest, fastest way, lowest effort way to change your mindset, although it does still take a surprising amount of effort, I know because I struggled with changing my mindset immensely, but the easiest way you do it is very simply by changing the content that you're consuming. Why? The sliding scale, or the spectrum of just starting to change my mindset to effectively I've accepted that I have to change my life, is just that. You're playing a game where you start and you think you just have to change your mind, when in reality, you're going to realize that those mindset shifts don't make a meaningful difference until you've extended the importance of it into changing your life. And this is a much more significant undertaking because we're very comfortable staying in the same place. It's not that we don't desire change. It's that we desire the outcome of change. We want the security that we currently experience with a familiar yet dysfunctional psychological state, but with the added benefits of the discomfort and the effort that you'd have to go through to get those outcomes in addition to that state. But we just want it to happen. So if we can think ourselves there, we just kind of teleport ourselves from our current state to a future state in our thoughts, we're hoping that we won't ever have to take the action. And this will stop a mindset shift from actually pervading at a level that matters. However, the trick is, like I said, you change your content consumption. You do that by clicking videos you're not normally comfortable looking at. Find things that you don't agree with specifically and try to learn from those and become comfortable with that, because what you're really doing there, aside from maybe getting some useful information, you're usually seeing people model the things you want to do, right? On the outset. And aside from seeing people, that proves to you, when you see people model things that you want to do, it proves to you that it's possible, and you're much more likely to take action. At a base level, watching I actually wouldn't say that's the first step in changing your content consumption. The first, most foundational shift in changing your content consumption, I'm just assuming if someone was watching a video about mindset that they would have already consumed some self-improvement content, but the most fundamental thing you could do is start watching content that's actually in your interest or in line with what you want to do, because that's going to show you the people that are doing it already. It's going to prove to you that it's possible. And aside from just doing that, your volume of thought, the quantity of thoughts that you have about that thing, are going to start to increase. And the more thoughts you have about the thing that you want to do, the more likely you are to make a decision to act on that thing. So changing your content consumption is very, very powerful in that respect. But it's not enough. Action winds up being the best part, but that doesn't mean you need to forsake content consumption. If you overload your thought process enough, you will be prompted to feel differently and take actions, just because you've basically created a compelling argument in your mind and you almost started to generate a new belief. And with that belief, you start to seek things in your environment, and then it convinces you to take new actions. So the next best thing after you've started changing your content consumption in a general sense is to start to look at the highest performing people in the field or area that you're interested in and try to listen to them speak directly, right? Don't listen too much to other people's interpretations of them. You want to get their direct experience, their direct tonality. You want to be able to watch them so you can start to understand where their head is at. Because your body and mind have a very potent way of mirroring what they see in other people, to the point that most of us aren't conscious of how we do that, or how our body and mind are reflective of the people that we encounter. And that's how we can understand them and their emotional states. Otherwise, you'd have to consciously deduce how everybody around you feels. You wouldn't have innate emotional reactions like that if you didn't mirror people. So when you watch people that you want to be like, you also mirror their state, at least in your imagination at first. But you'll start to naturally find opportunities in your life where you can begin to test those behaviors. Because the way that planning works, the way that your mindset functionally changes your life, is that it orients your brain to begin using its resources to create new opportunities and new evidence and new scenarios out of all the information that you consume. That changes how you're oriented, and you begin to construct in the way that you'd like to. It just starts at a subtle level. So when you're watching the people that you want to be like, you should also do your best to find out their backstory, because their backstory is going to reveal to you where they started. And you're going to wind up finding that people doing what you want to do have started everywhere before. There's no, like, you're not unqualified, because people have started from every different position. They've started with no money, they've started with money, they've started healthy, they've started unhealthy, they've started in abusive environments, they've started in the best possible environments, and all of them have made it work in some one way or the other. This is going to open your mind to a whole new level of possibility. And that type of mindset shift will almost essentially force you to change your behavior, because you can't look at petty things the same way. You're proving to yourself that all the things that you think aren't possible are possible, because you're watching them so frequently, and your head just begins to play a movie that's disproving your current actions. The reason I said that if you don't understand this, you can make it not work, is because people, if you don't understand that the goal of the mindset shift is to change your action and behavior, you're going to wind up resisting the behavior shift that comes with the mindset shift. And when that happens, you're going to be incongruent. Your existence is going to become incoherent, and you're going to have a certain personality type that starts to arise. You've probably seen it a lot. I would call it the self-improvement dickhead personality type, where all they do is push their beliefs on you about mindset, about habits, about health, about whatever. And it's not limited to self-improvement. People do this with everything. But you become a person where, instead of proving through your experience and your behavior what you found out, you're seeking to get validation from other people agreeing with what you found out. And that's not going to work very well. So if you know what you need to do, like if you've heard a bunch of people say the same thing and you just don't quite understand it, now that's an action problem. And I would group that into a mindset thing. I don't think action and mindset are really separate. I think your mindset primes you to take action. And if you don't see those things as fundamentally connected, you're going to run into some problems. So that's basically the message. Simplest trick: change your content consumption. You know, all that time you have at the end of the day, or when you're just watching nonsense stuff like Netflix or whatever, you got to change it. Because at first, that first move you're going to make of shifting your thought, people don't often credit how much effort it really takes to get yourself to think in your own interest when you're so used to thinking of things that are bad for you. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment about something compelling, maybe a question, ideally. I can answer the question. And if you're interested in anything that I might come out with, you could go to the links in the description and sign up to my newsletter, where I'll occasionally, ideally once a week, but usually closer to twice a month, I'll write something that's useful. So thanks for watching.